are powers on Earth too hidden to be seen, and conspiracies too vast to comprehend. For years, the world has seen fact distorted, reality manipulated, and the truth concealed. Join the Pierre Sebak podcast to uncover the real meanings behind ancient aliens and their symbolism.
Hi, this is Pierre Sebak, unlocking the keys to the mysteries. Now today I want to look at the saints, and I particularly want to look at how the saints are actually identified with the sun of a boat. Now in order to do this we have to have a look at the symbolism of a shield, in particular a family crest or a shield, and this goes back into the symbolism of the high ones or the Elohim, specifically the Bene Elohim, who are the sons of the gods, the sons of the high ones. So first of all I want to look at the symbol of the shield. Now within Greek symbolism, Opelon, a shield, is related to Pleon, which is a boat or a ship. Now Pleon, a vessel, again has this connotations of an angelic vessel within symbolism, hence the correspondence between Opelite, which is a soldier. Within symbolism this can be understood to be the angelic host. But again, when we look at the etymologies, for example, we see that there is this correspondence between Eger, which is the elm of a vessel, which is the Hebrew word, and Aegis, which is the shield of a deity. So there is this etymological switchover or correspondence between Eger, which is the helm of a vessel, and Aegis, which is the shield of a deity. Now Aegis, which is a shield of a deity, is used in doublespeak to denote a flying saucer, because this is a type of spinning shield. In the Hellene cultures, shields were thrown in catapults. They were filled with hot oil, and then they were catapulted, or they were used as a type of missile or a type of projectile. Hence, in symbolism, the missile is used to denote a shield. The shield is a flying shield, which has this connotation of a boat or a ship, which is related to the angelic host. So, in this respect, the shield can be understood within the Judaic symbolism to correspond with the opening wheels. And within the Christian mysteries, we can see that Aegis, a shield, it is closely grouped with the Hebrew word Eger, which is the elm of a ship. And in this respect, the shield is a type of a guard or a covering of a vessel. And it is, when we begin to break down the symbolism, really anchored astrotheologically with the holy progeny. And this progeny is often symbolized as a saint, which is a type of seeded offspring. And again, the connotation is of this militarized hierarchy. Hence there is this relationship between hegemon, which is a leader, or hegemony in English, which would relate to Eger, which is the helm of a vessel. As we said before, in the Judaic tradition this would be kingship, hence the correspondence between Malak, an angel, Malak, a sailor, Melech, which is a king, kingship. Again, within the Greek, an archon is an angel or a ruler. There is this connotation of nuarchos, which is a captain of a naval vessel. So this relationship between the ship and the ruler, which would denote lordship. So we can say therefore that the sailor, when we're looking at the encoding of the sailor, it has multiple meanings. At one level, sailor connotes lordship, which is this angelic lineage which is derived from heaven, but also we see that there is a connotation of an angel, hence the relationship with an angelic sailor or an angelic messenger. In this respect, the angelic messenger within the original biblical traditions, in its strictest sense, would have been understood to be a type of envoy from a ship, this ship derived from heaven. As we said before, this ship is heavily symbolized, or goes into the symbolism of the shield, which is which is correspondent with a ship, but within the Judaic traditions this would denote the opening wheels and would go back into the symbolism of the throne chariot. Now again, the sailor can also connote a saint, this planted bloodline. Again, the sailor politically has connotations of the government, it has connotation of the minister, who in a literal sense is understood to be a steerer of a ship, and again the sailor is this noble or naval bloodline. So for example, we would say Sarif, which is a noble, has this connotation of Safina, which is a boat, which is a ship. The implication is of lordship, hence the correspondence between noble and naval in English. In English we would say kingship. So the aegis then is used as a shield of a deity, but it is used to connote a flying saucer, hence this relationship between Eger, which is a helm of a vessel. The aegis of a shield is this shield which is aerial, which is a type of projectile. Hence in English this relationship between missile and missionary. A missionary of God is one who is a type of messenger, which has this connotation of an angel. So the shield variously can be used to denote a ship in heraldry. It would denote kingship, lordship, and it concords with the sailor, which is a grading of an angel or a deity basically. Now aegis, which is a shield, it's especially used to denote that of a god. It would connote a flying shield, hence this idea that the shield is the same as a ship, or is used to symbolize a ship of a vessel, a ship of a deity, the terminology aegis, a shield, therefore within Greek is closely paralleled with the etymology of agioi, which are the saints, which is again a close derivation from agnos, meaning chaste, immaculate or pure from evil. Again, this is a consecrated bloodline. This is a bloodline which is deemed to be separate and is therefore consecrated. So in this respect we can say that the saints, by definition, that they can be understood to be conceived from a ship because of this relationship, if you like, between agioi, which is a saint, in the Hebrew eger, which is the helm of a ship, closely concordant with aegis, which is a shield of a deity. Now, it's useful for us to actually look at what we mean by a saint. So I'm going to quote the Britannica Concise Encyclopedia. The encyclopedia states that a saint is a holy person in the New Testament. St. Paul uses the term to mean a member of the Christian community, but more commonly refers to those noted for their holiness and venerated during their lifetimes or after death. In Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, saints are publicly recognized by the Church and are considered to be intercessors with God for the living. And again, this is because the saint is understood to be derived from this angelic tradition. The angel is a type of intercessor. More specifically, the angel is a messenger. He is an envoy from a naval vessel. The angels are derived from these ships which originate from heaven. So in this respect we can say therefore that the saint really is understood to be an angelic being, or certainly his bloodline is deemed to be angelic, or one who is born from a person, and therefore a saint is worthy of veneration because his lineage is closely concordant with the ha-elohim, the sons of the gods. Now, as I've mentioned before, the saints, they coexist with mankind, and again we're dealing here with a parallel society. So therefore the angels, they interact with humans, and that they have informed our society, they've informed our culture, our language and our governments. And in this respect, the bloodline of the saint can be understood to be agios, in the Greek agios meaning holy or separated, which informs agioi, which is the word for saints, the sanctified ones, the holy ones. They are consecrate, they are separate, and therefore the bloodline is considered to be agnos, which is pure. Now, according to Vine's complete dictionary of Old and New Testaments, he traces the word agioi, the saints, to the related root azo, which is to venerate. And again, this is really a clayleptical symbol, or it's a cryptic pun, because in English we venerate through worship, and worship is connoting the idea of an angelic ship or an angelic vessel. And again, the idea of worship is really thematically, when we break it down, it's really an extension of Aegis, which is a shield of God, which, as I mentioned before, has this connotation of a missile, or has this connotation of a ship identified with the angelic host. So therefore, when we look at the saints and we look at their correspondence with the angel, we see that the saints can be understood, like the angel, to be a type of messenger. And indeed, the saints are likened to missionaries, because the terminology missionary is related in the Greek and Latin to a missile being a type of projectile which was typically circular, which was a type of shield which was catapulted from a catapult, basically. So the shield and the saint are seem to be one and the same thing. They are symbols of a boat, and the saint is therefore incarnated from a boat. He is a descendant of a boat, and this is where in symbolism we get the family shield. Typically the family shield is elevated, and again the idea that the shield of ancestry, or one who is born from a boat, is very ancient, because within archaeology also we see that one who is born from a boat is represented with a shield. And I've got a picture here of a governor. This is a Roman sculpture, which is illustration in my book. Just let me actually try that. So there you are. This is a Roman sculpture, and again this is a descendant of a shield. The connotation is of lordship, one who is born from a boat. So again, this is an angelic lineage. As we said before, there is this relationship between Malak an angel, Malak a sailor, Melek a king. In English we would say kingship. In Arabic they would say Sarif, and the relationship between Sarif a noble, Safina, which would be a ship, which would have connotations of the seraphic tradition, hence Sapan, which is a sailor in the Hebrew, and again this analogy between Sapan and Serpens in the Latin, but Sapan is related specifically to Seraph within the Semitic languages. There is this switch over, there is this close alignment. So when we look at this, therefore, when we look at this, there is this close alignment, and we can see therefore that the saints are incarnated from a boat, and they originate from this classified tradition, hence Agioi a saint, which is closely concordant with Aegis a shield, and this is heraldic, if you like, of a divine or a noble bloodline. As we said before, the correspondence between noble and naval, which in English would be aligned to lordship, and it's recorded in symbolism as the boat. It's typically stylized, if you like. The round shield is a device used to denote a flying saucer in the original context, which denotes this divine being whose genealogy goes back to a vessel, and it's highlighted, we could say, between the correspondence between a shield, a boat, and a lordship. Okay, I'm going to have to go now. My battery on my computer is running low. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up. This is Pierre Sabak. Thank you. Let's try and make this a better world. Thank you very much.